How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slapped Ham. The following are the creepiest creatures from Eastern European folklore. But just quickly before we get into it, remember to hit that subscribe button for more awesome creepy content just like this.
BANNIK is perhaps the most recognisable of all Eastern Europe's folk creatures. In fact, BANNIK is weaved into many of the most common traditions of Eastern European life. He is a highly mischievous spirit with a notorious reputation for causing trouble for both men and women. Often depicted as an old man with long sharp claws, he supposedly hangs out in the banya steam baths that are common throughout Eastern Europe. In fact, visitors at the baths often leave behind offerings of soap for BANNIK. Legend says that BANNIK possesses the power to predict the future. BANNIK would deliver a soft touch to a person's back if their future looked good. Those with troublesome futures would receive the sharp sting of BANNIK's claw instead. Women in Eastern Europe often used the banya when birthing. A midwife would be tasked with keeping BANNIK away during delivery. In addition, many Eastern European couples used the banya to take steam baths as part of their wedding ritual. Wedding guests would often throw pottery and rocks at the walls of the banya as a way to keep BANNIK away to protect couples. All voyagers in Eastern Europe have heard of Baba Yaga. Have some actually seen or heard her in person? It depends on who you ask. One thing that is especially interesting about Baba Yaga is that this creature has no counterparts in the mythologies of other cultures. She is totally unique to Eastern Europe. Baba Yaga appears as a witch-like woman with long spindly legs and a large nose. She bestows blessings and curses on travellers based on how she's feeling. She's often depicted flying around in a wooden bucket looking for children to snatch. She abducts kids and cooks them in a big pot in her house. Her home is a small hut that is propped up with chicken legs at the bottom. She's often pictured holding a mortar and pestle. She also carries a broom that is used to sweep away any tracks she makes. That means you'll need some good luck if you plan to hunt her down. You wouldn't want to come across a STRIGOI while strolling through a European village with nothing but the dying flicker of a candle wick in your hands. A STRIGOI is a ghoulish creature that looks and acts very much like a vampire. This creature supposedly roams the Romanian countryside, spreading death and destruction. Some versions of the STRIGOI are actually corpses that have escaped the grave. There's no doubt that this figure emerged during a time when death and disease were commonplace in the villages throughout Eastern Europe. However, many people claim to this day that they've encountered the mysterious STRIGOI while venturing outside after dark in towns and forests throughout this portion of Europe. What did people in Eastern Europe worship and fear before Christianity made its way through the land? A certain god of thunder and war seemed to be at the top of the food chain throughout most of the region during the pre-Christian era. PERUN is one of the oldest and most mysterious entities from Eastern European folklore. His identity is quite similar to the gods that are found in cultures throughout Greece, Rome, and the rest of the ancient world. PERUN is essentially a thunder god. However, some Slavic texts portray him as the god of all things. He rode along on a chariot and used a catalogue of powerful mythical weapons during his time as the main ruler of the supernatural realm in Eastern Europe. He is commonly depicted as a strong, bearded man wielding a weapon in books and art. While PERUN is still celebrated by some during the month of July, his power all but evaporated once Christian missionaries spread throughout Europe. You might want to take a peek behind some of the corners and crevices in your house after you hear about this next creature. Almost everyone of Polish or Russian descent grew up hearing tales of KIKIMORA. She's an evil household spirit who takes up residence behind a stove or in the cellar. Her objective seems to be stealing food. Most accounts paint her as a witch or the spirit of a deceased person who once lived in the house. Others say that she enters a home through the keyhole and attempts to strangle people as they sleep in their beds. Ancient Russians attributed the phenomenon of sleep paralysis to KIKIMORA. There were specific ways to banish this spirit. Residents of a home would need to say elaborate prayers or position brooms outside their bedroom doors. children in Poland often made the sign of the cross over their pillows as a way to keep her away. Not all stories associated with Kikimora are bad. Many say that she enjoys taking care of household chores or tending to the animals when she likes a household. However, she has been known to break a few plates. This next creature is a good one to know about before you take a swim in one of the many deep lakes or ponds scattered throughout the woods of Eastern Europe. Vodianoi is a male water spirit who lives in deep pools of water. This sinister creature takes delight in drowning swimmers. Some who have seen him claim that he appears as a naked old man who is hairy, bloated and covered in slime. Others claim he has scales. Some even claim he's an old peasant in a red shirt who's capable of transforming into a fish. Vodianoi commonly swims in waters near mills. In fact, the evil water spirit is actually said to have a fondness for millers and fishermen. Both are typically immune to his sinister actions. Vodianoi will even gather fish into nets for some favoured fishermen. There is certainly no shortage of things that go bump in the night when it comes to Eastern European folklore. This next creature really takes the cake when it comes to terrorising kids. BAUBAS is a Lithuanian creature with dark red eyes, long arms and bony fingers, who kidnaps misbehaving children. This red-eyed demon is especially sinister because of the fact he enjoys hiding inside homes. You can think of him as the monster under your bed. In fact, he enjoys hiding under beds, carpets and more. No region's folklore would be complete without a demon that feasts on innocent children. Külmking is the being that fulfills that role in Eastern Europe's long catalogue of scary and creepy creatures. Külmking is a creature from Estonian mythology who lives in the forest and eats children. He also likes to taunt and terrorise grown-ups who happen to cross paths with him while walking in the dark forests of Europe. While he appears as a large beast, he's actually a restless spirit of the unholy dead. Anyone who enters the woods in Eastern Europe wonders if Külmking could be lurking nearby. This beast even has the ability to go through the body of a person and turn that person evil. That means that Külmking can create a nice little army of evildoers if he turns enough people at once. Are you sure you can really trust your hiking companions? Nobody can be too sure of anything while walking through the forests of Eastern Europe as long as Külmking is lurking nearby. You probably would have been told you had a domovoi in your home if you lived in Eastern Europe a long time ago. These household spirits often played pranks on families and assisted with household chores. They could also tell the fortunes of the families they lived with, using comb bristles, candles and other household objects. Domovoi are typically described as being small and bearded. They closely resemble the hobgoblins that are popular in Western European folklore. Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at Eastern Europe's version of the mountain fairy, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications. That way you'll get updates about all our videos. The VILA are Eastern Europe's nymphs or mountain fairies. They are found living in hills and mountains. Some versions of folklore actually claim that the VILA live up in the clouds. However, they are almost always spotted in the wilderness in all versions of folklore. These mysterious creatures are believed to have the power over the wind. In fact, they're credited with causing windstorms. Those who claim to have seen VILA say that they appear as ghosts wrapped in long whimsical cloaks or rich blue robes. They sometimes appear as beautiful women who sparkle in dresses made of leaves and flowers. Unlike many of the creepy creatures who haunt the forests and homes of Eastern Europe, the VILA are beautiful and feminine. They also tend to be helpful instead of destructive. Many claim that they're able to heal humans of ailments. They've also been known to tempt men to dance with them. You'll know if you've been in the territory of a VILA if you see deep rings in the grass. This is a sign that the VILA have danced in this area. It's said that treading on the rings will bring bad luck. The VILA are incredibly strong and powerful. They've been known to end the lives of men who defy or break their promises. It's not uncommon for people in Eastern Europe to leave offerings for the VILA. Things like ribbons, fruits, cakes, flowers and vegetables are often left on hills where lightning is known to strike. The VILA are probably the creatures of Eastern Europe that you would most prefer to stumble upon while walking through the woods, once you consider all the other options.
If you enjoyed this video, then why not check out our Creepy Creatures from Scandinavian Folklore video? There's an embedded link right there. Leave us a comment down below if you enjoyed this, or hit that thumbs up button. And that's it for me. I'll see you all next time.